President Tinubu threatening a democratically elected governor is a war you cannot win. I'm telling you. And this is the issue between the presidency and the governor of Bauchi State, Governor Bala Mohammed. You know, Governor Bala Mohammed has told Tinubu that his tax reform bill is detrimental to the North and he has to withdraw it or the North will show their true color. But now the special assistant to the president, Sunday Dare, has come to warn the guy or the governor of Bauchi State to retrieve or withdraw the statement. But again, let's get into the details. Somebody is coming out here to tell the president you can't threaten a sitting governor. So you have to check it because it's a war you may not be able to win. But at the same time, too, it's also not easy to threaten a sitting president. So it's 50-50. Let's get it right. But again, let's dive into the details. President Bala Tinubu must be reminded unequivocally, Nigeria is a democracy. It may be flawed, riddled with inconsistencies and plagued by weak institutions, but it remains a democracy. Attempts to intimidate, silence, or threaten a democratically elected governor are not just unconstitutional, they are an outright affront to the very fabric of governance in Nigeria. Such actions undermine the principles of separation of powers, checks and balances, and the fundamental right to dissent, all of which are the cornerstones of a democratic society. Nigeria adopted the American style of presidential system of government to ensure accountability and balance between the various arms of government. Deviating from these principles signals a betrayal not only of the democratic framework but also of the oath President Tinubu swore to uphold. Governors like Bala Mohammed are not just leaders of their respective states, they are elected representatives of millions of Nigerians who have entrusted them to advocate for their interests. Any attempt to silence them is an attack on the people themselves. So Governor Bala Mohammed is not merely a regional figure. As a two-term senator and the current chairman of the Governors or the People Democratic Party's PDP Governors Forum, he represents a critical block in Nigeria's democracy. Threatening such a leader is not just a tactical error, it is a gross underestimation of his influence and the millions who stand behind him. To undermine his voice is to disregard the mandate given to him by the people of Bauchi and the broader opposition coalition he represents. Tinubu's administration risks creating fractures in Nigeria's already fragile democracy by adopting such a heavy-handed approach. Tinubu's administration must embrace dialogue, not dictatorship. So Governor Bala Mohammed's criticism of President Tinubu's proposed tax reforms was direct and unapologetic. He called the reforms anti-Northern and warned of their potential to impoverish states and destabilize national unity. His statement at a Christmas gathering, "We will show President Tinubu our true color," was a bold declaration that rattled a presidency seemingly unused to being challenged so openly. Wow. However, rather than addressing these valid concerns with humility and tact, the presidency responded with an air of arrogance. Through his special advisor on media and publicity and communications, Sunday Dare, Tinubu's administration dismissed Mohammed's remark as inflammatory rhetoric and demanded a retraction. Dare's response: the challenges we face, poverty to security, economic growth to social development, transcend state boundaries and political affiliations, completely sidesteps the specific grievances raised by Mohammed and comes across as tone deaf and dismissive. That is exactly the way Sunday Dare responded. So this approach is emblematic of a larger problem within Tinubu's administration: an unwillingness to engage in meaningful consultation and a tendency to act with impunity. Nigeria's complex challenges requires nuanced solutions, yet the federal government appeared more focused on asserting dominance than building consensus. Policies such as the proposed VAT interest from 7.5% to 10% and new excise duty disproportionately burden less industrialized states like Bauchi while favoring wealthier regions. Mohammed's warning that such policies could provoke unrest is not an empty threat. It is a reflection of the frustration brewing among Nigerians who feel excluded from the benefits of governance. Oh boy. Sunday Dare's communication blunders, special advisor Sunday Dare, mishandling of the situation has only worsened the perception of Tinubu's presidency. His demand that Governor Mohammed retract his comment was not just a miscalculation, it was a masterclass in how to make an already tense situation worse. Mohammed's swift and unyielding response, "I cannot be threatened as a governor. I stand by my comment," was a resounding rejection that left Solidarity scrambling to salvage a misstep that never should have occurred. Exactly. People who have not won election before will be threatening, just because they are special assistant or whatever they're given, will be threatening somebody who got the vote from his people. This is not a joke. So what I see here now shows that the presidency is in it. Threatening the governor is not going to work. They say Tinubu must remember power is temporary. Exactly. Unfortunately, the people in power don't remember that anymore. The presidency must choose collaboration over confrontation. But Tinubu is operating with impunity, so that is out of his record. That is another big issue that we have with this administration. It's not a good one, but so it is. So as we step into a new year, Mr. President, perhaps it is time for a new approach, one that values dialogue over discord, respect over repression, and to solidarity, take time. Communication is an art, not a blunt instrument. Happy New Year, Mr. President. Let's hope 2025 is the year your administration learns the beauty of collaboration over confrontation. Oh boy, somebody has written. They have written a very long epistle here, a love letter to Mr. President. Now let me get a few comments. Somebody must have written something here in response to what has been explained. Okay. I thought, say, where was this hypocrite when the governor was threatening the peace of the whole country with his unguided utterance? Which somebody said, I can't imagine. Okay. So it's because some people are blind and they don't understand what it means to be president of a nation. The guy should Google Obasanjo, what Obasanjo did to a particular state governor and declared a state of emergency by putting someone there. So when a governor's statement is threatening the existence of a country, what do you want the president to do? Make it a play, Abi? The hypocrites are blind to see or hear the threats of the governors against the federal government. Can you see what we're saying here? So where did the writer leave his brain during his write-up? Wasn't it the governor who was threatening the president that the North will invoke a rot? President without credibility, what do you expect? So 50-50. That is it. There is a mix-up here that must be highlighted and quickly addressed. Nigeria is a democracy with separation of powers. President Tinubu is acting within his right to propose a tax reform for Nigeria, and Governor Bala Mohammed can only act within his right to talk as governor of Bauchi State. So in as much as two wrongs cannot make a right, Governor Bala's hardline comment that President Tinubu's tax reform is anti-North is indeed inflammatory and divisive. Who gave the governor the platform to speak for the North? And why does he believe the tax reform is anti-North and beneficiary only to the South, when there are many prominent voices in the North that have also spoken in favor of the tax? Somebody, when I did Mr. Writer, are you insane? They saw this writer. Tinubu has just been announced by an internationally recognized independent body as the most corrupt president in the world. Not be lie. Hey, not be lie. No problem, bro. The tax reform will be passed into law. This Tinubu, is this statement, we will show you our true color, not a threat. Mr. Writer, who made this statement? But the governor can threaten the president, Abi. Stupid talk. The same Bala Mohammed who said AK-47 should be given to herdsmen operating in the south to protect their animals and themselves. So the problem with the government, all of them are the same. I'm telling you, it's difficult to support anyone. Bala Mohammed is pro-North. And that means that because the North and the Fulanis, they believe that they own Nigeria, and whatever anybody is doing, they should be given priority. And that is a very bad part, because the South that produces the oil that is feeding the entire nation has also been greatly impoverished by the North. So what then is the solution to our problem? It is going to be restructuring. Okay, confederation. We need to operate regional system of government, and then the central will just be there to manage. The rest regions will do their thing their own self, and then pay a contribution of certain amount to the central to run the federal establishment. That is it. So thank you for listening, and let's have a comment. The same North would not want any form of restructuring because they are scared that they will not survive. Quite unfortunate. So Nigeria's problem is multifaceted, and until we are honest with ourselves and do what is right and remove all the loopholes in our laws and constitution, Nigeria is going nowhere. That is it.